Hi guys, Sandy here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to Follow a Sketch Friday. So this is the sketch that I'm going to be using. It is a one photo sketch and it is by Diana Fisher. So I have this right here. Now there is a lot of white space in this sketch and I want to fill that white space. So I'm going to be using a pre-made background from Vicki Boutin, and I'm also going to be using two stencils, I think. Now, this is the Let's Get Dottie stencil from Scrapping Reflections, and this is the January 2022 stencil of the month. So yes, this is the reveal of the Stencil of the Month Club. I'll put the link down below so you can check that out. Now, let's see what I can do. Alright guys, so I'm starting out with the pre-made background paper from Vicki Boutin, and basically by the time I get finished, you're not even really going to be able to see it, but it does give layers of blue and color underneath of all my stenciling, so it gives me a great base. So if you are the type of person that slapping a stencil on a sheet of white cardstock makes you nervous, this is a great way to do it. Now I did take my white paint and kind of rub over it with a paper towel. What that did was kind of dilute the blue color a little bit. It kind of toned it down. Now, confession, this brush still had dried blue watercolor on it, so I just sprayed it with some water and dropped it on my paper. Now I am using a liquid watercolor. This is from Tailored Expressions. It is the color Blue Corn, and I just dabble that on top of my Pounce brush, and I'm going to put that down as well. Now a Pounce brush is basically a brush that looks like a blush brush, and I use it strictly for pouncing color onto my paper. So it really does ruin the brush. It ruins the bristles, but it keeps it in like pounce perfection mode, kind of. I am going to go ahead and use my heat gun to heat this bad boy up. Basically, I'm trying to get all of the goodness to dry so that I can layer on my stencils. Now, there are a lot of times where I'm doing a mixed media layout, and I really don't care if the mixed media is wet or dry. But there are times where I care, and this is one of them. So now I'm going to take the Let's Get Dottie stencil, and I just adhered it down with a little bit of washi tape, and then I kind of freak out because I'm like, why is this coming out yellow? And I realized I grabbed my green blender brush instead of my blue. So I take the blender brush and really add a bunch of color to get rid of that green. I don't want green. I'm going for a very monochromatic feel with this layout. My photo is very monochromatic. This is one of those times where I really want the page and the photo to match. And that is, I would say, something of a rarity for me, because usually I scrap emotionally and the photos evoke feelings and the papers evoke feelings, and if those feelings match, then I put them together. But in this instance, I was specifically looking for a monochromatic feeling, a monochromatic look, monochromatic colors, and oh goodness, that green could have ruined it. Well, not really ruined it, would have had to have gone a different direction, but luckily I was able to cover that up, and now I'm just making sure to get these little dots all over the stencil. So this, like I said, is the Let's Get Dottie stencil from Scrapping Reflections. I'll have the link down below for that. This is a stencil that is just in the shop. Now, the only thing I did here was change the position of the stencil. I just turned it a quarter of a turn. I am adding washi tape one more time, and now I'm going to take some Nouveau drops. Now, these are Nouveau stone drops, so it adds textured bits, right? So this is Belgian bluestone. And I'm going to use a Disney gift card to go ahead and get as much of the Nouveau drops onto my layout. So as you can see, I took off the little knob and I am adding it in, just globbing it right on the gift card and spreading it around so that it covers. Now I want full coverage circles. So I am going to go over this a couple times. Now, when you do go over stencils, when you go over them over and over and over again, you do increase your chances of getting material underneath of the stencil. So you want to either be sure with what you're doing or kind of go in the same direction. Now, I was going in the same direction for a long time, and then, you know, I got frustrated because it was taking so long. So I just globbed some on and threw it down. Now, this is kind of a thicker, heavier material, so it's not as runny. It's not going to run underneath the stencil as much as an acrylic paint will, and you'll see that later, how the acrylic paint runs underneath of the stencil. So I did dry that as well. I'm not going to make you watch me dry that one. And then I am taking my Liquitex Basics with a sponge brush, and I'm going to dabble into the stencil. Now, I do use a lot of paint, so some of them get a little globby, and some of them come out really great. It's really just your technique. It's how much paint you're squishing through. I'm also stenciling over a dimensional surface. It is no longer a flat piece of paper because I have those Nouveau Stone Drops. So, you know, it just takes a minute. And I'm taking a peek at it and I'm looking at it. And then I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to start brushing this on. This is not going to be my main layer of snowflake. I'm going to do another layer of snowflake. So I'm just trying to get the white snowflake feeling through the page. I just want it to get there and you can see the snowflakes over top of the other colors. Like, I just want these little pops of white. So I'm going to go ahead and cover the entire 12 by 12 stencil with this. Now, I will also say that I pulled the stencil up and so that the snowflakes kind of go off the top of the page and there are no snowflakes on the very bottom of the page. And I did that on purpose because I wanted the snowflakes to like be falling down from the top. And I didn't want them going all the way to the bottom. And they don't. There's definitely space at the bottom of the layout where they do not go all the way down. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill in that Liquitex Basics paint on there. I did break my paint brush, sponge paint brush here, but you know, that's neither here nor there. That's fine. It got tossed into the bin. It was like 10 cents or something like that. So I don't feel like, you know, I've lost a whole heck of a lot of money by breaking a brush. So now I'm going to pull out, you guessed it, Glitter Glaze. I'm going to use, I was going to try to use this last little bit of stickles that I had in the stickles there, but there was so little in it. I was like, why am I even bothering? So the stickles jar went into the bin, or the stickles bottle went into the bin, and now I'm going to put the Glitter Glaze on. Now with the Glitter Glaze, I am using kind of a heavy hand, and I am also going in one direction because that will definitely help the whole entire layout. Like, I don't want globbiness on my Glitter Glaze. Some of it globs a little bit just because there is so much texture under there, but there it is. Now this is a very busy background, you guys, and it looks even busier on camera, but I love it. And I decided to go ahead and take that white space out of my sketch, and I just made it a whole bunch of not white space. That's what this is. This is a whole bunch of not white space. So I am deciding that I really don't want anything too contrasty with this. I want a couple of elements to like show differing between the photo and the background, because like I said, there are very similar colors, they match. So I'm using things like specialty papers, kind of translucent specialty papers. I have this vellum. I also have some mulberry paper. I have a specialty card from Tonic Nouveau, and then I have this gold paper as well. So now I am going to go ahead and put a banner at the bottom of this. Now you guys know that I use my grid mat a lot to make straight lines. I love creativity and the wildness, but you know, sometimes my brain just wants that perfect straight line, so that's what I did here. I used my ruler and my grid mat to get the perfect line. I'm going to build my little photo mat here before I place it onto my layout. Now I did run out of ATG in the middle of the layout just now, and that is fine because since I am putting these papers on such textured mixed media with the Nouveau Stone Drops and the Glitter Glaze, I am definitely going to be using a liquid adhesive to get my papers to stick down. So a liquid adhesive will help because it will get into the nooks and crannies of those textured pieces underneath, and it will grip hard, and you don't have to worry about your papers falling off the background. So I have torn a piece of the specialty card and also the mulberry paper, and I decide that I don't want them exactly square, so I am going to flare them out a little bit. I'm going to use the Let's Wander thickers, and I also have these thickers right here with some gold letters. And my title is going to be Today We Wander. And we definitely weren't, when you get on an airplane, like you get on a commercial airplane, you're not up in the sky to wander around. Like you're going to a specific point, but I feel like this worked. So I have Today Wander, and I wanted to tuck it up here, but then it looked like We Today Wander, and I was like, no, I definitely want it to be Today We Wander. So I put them to the left of the word, and now here I am using my Nouveau Deluxe adhesive to go ahead and get those down. Now that should be restocked in the shop very soon. I placed my order, I'm just waiting for it to get here. Which makes me ridiculously happy because I am ridiculously low, and that's not good. And how many times can I say ridiculously in a sentence? Apparently two. So now I tried to pull out the airplane because, you know, it is an airplane shot, but it didn't fit, and I decided I liked the camera a lot better. So there it is, you guys, and I didn't even really talk about the stencil of the month. It's a monthly stencil club. Check out the link down below. It'll tell you all the information you need to know. If you have any questions, post them down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys again real soon for another video.